are going to continue with paragraph formatting, and we're going to start off with how to set tabs. If you'll notice, on my screen I have a document that has some random data put in, and it's kind of hard to look at. If you look, I have done the show hide characters, non-print characters, because I want you to see. I put a return after each one, which means each one is considered a paragraph, and these little arrows indicate I've put in a tab. Normally you tab at the beginning of each paragraph. Now first of all, you need to know that a tab can be set a couple of ways. We're going to go over 2 ways. The first thing is to click in the line you want to set the tabs, or you can highlight multiple lines. We're going to do this line by line because I want to show you what each different type of tab does that you'll be working with. So I've clicked in this, the first line that says March, April, May, and I'm going to set the tabs. You click the dialog launcher box under paragraph and you do tab. Now you have a couple of options on here. You have a place over here where you can set the tab stop positions. This is saying where you want each tab to end. You have alignment in the center, and you have some boxes that'll put a leader in. I'll show you the leader boxes when we get towards the bottom. Right now for the top chart, I'm just going to set tabs. You type in the number, you click set. Type in the next number if you want to set multiple tabs on a line. And we're just going to make this easy. Do 2, 3, 4, and 5. And set those. Once they're set, we click OK. Notice how it spread them out. Well, I want March to be out. So if you look up here, when I do 2015 and I hit a tab, it moves over slightly. Now at March, where I've set my first tab to be at 2, and you can tell it's at 2 because it's put in a little line that indicates I put in a left tab there. When I hit the tab, it's going to move it in so it lines up under that 2. We're going to go into Walmart, and we're just going to set the tabs. Again, we're going to left align them, so we're just going to do the exact same thing we just did. And because I've got tabs in there, it'll automatically move everything over when I click OK. So now, as you can see, it's lining up. This is a left tab, so notice how the first letter of the word and the first number all line up at the same spot. In this case, 4 inches into the document. We're going to do something slightly different on this one. We are going to go in and we're going to, instead of telling it to left, we're going to center this one. So we're going to do the same numbers, set those, but now we've told it to center. So instead of lining up and going from that point, this is going to center on whatever point we said. So where it says 4 inches, that's where the center is. Now we're going to take this one, set it again, but we're going to tell this to line up on the right, which means we're going to set, do OK. Notice now that everything comes before. So if we set it at 5, it goes so that everything aligns to the 5 and before it. So it puts it over. Our last one, we're going to leave blank because I'm going to show you a different way to set these now. I want to set them all at once because I don't want to do each line individually. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to clear all the tab stops. Again, there's a couple of ways to do it. The easiest way I like to do it is you just go into tabs, you click clear all, and they're all gone. You can set tabs, and then you can drag them off. And if you drag them off the bar, you can get rid of them. To decide if you want to do a left-right tab, over in the far corner, and you'd have to use your key tips, is a little box. If you notice it has an L, that means, and if you key tip over it, it says left tab. We would set left tabs. Next comes center tab. Next comes the right tab. But I want to do a center tab with a decimal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it set for center tab decimal. Then I'm just going to click where I want my tabs to be on the number line. Now they all line up, and they're lining up as the decimal points are. So the decimal point is actually the center point on the tab. Now since I've got this highlighted, I'm going to show you one other thing before I go down and show you something else with tabs. You have a sort tool in the paragraph group under the home page. If I click this and we do ascending, it starts with and puts them in alphabetical order, starting at the top. If I do it descending, starts at the bottom of the alphabet and works its way down. So you can do that if you want to order your data by ABC order. You can also order it by numbers, but we're not going to do that today. Now we have another thing. I have some other things that I just threw in here with numbers, and I'm going to set a tab for them. To do this tab, we're going to have to go into the dialog launcher and click the tabs. Because I want to set a dot leader. I'm going to set this one for 6. I'm going to still do the decimal, which means that the decimal points will line up. But I'm going to make it so that it has some dots before it. You could also do dashes, you could do underscores, but we're going to do dots. When I set it and click OK, notice that it puts it out, but it puts dots leading from the word all the way there. Now let's get rid of this. Now the document is looking a little better. Don't like the way I've lined this up, so I'm going to go in. I can clear the formatting on there, which will remove the tabs. Go back in. We're going to put in a center tab. So we're going to center it at 2. Okay, now that's looking a little neater, but it's still not as easy to read as we'd like it to be. Let's start with the basics. Let's align this to the center. Notice I didn't highlight the whole word. I just clicked in it. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Do not have to highlight the word every time you want to do something to it. Next thing I want to show you is how to add spaces after paragraphs. We're going to highlight the whole document. We're going to go into page layout. Notice how it has before and after. This is your spacing before and after the paragraph. I'm going to add and put in 12 point. If you did it before, it would add it before. After adds it after. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually shade that line. Again, click in the line. If you go into paragraph, you have where you can shade. Remember in font you could shade the fonts? Well, here you can shade the entire paragraph. Okay, so we're going to shade the paragraph. We're going to add borders to this chart. So we're going to choose the chart, and we're going to go to the borders tool in the paragraph group. Now you can add the borders individually, however you want to do it. But we're going to go to borders and shading. You can add shading here, but we can choose some different borders, and we can choose how wide we want the borders to be. We can also give it a color if we want at this point. So box, if you box it, it just means it goes around the outside. So let's show you this. Now that's in a box. If we wanted to, we can take it a step further. That's a box. Do a shadow box. But we can also add lines on the inside. Now if I add the line going across the inside, that means each one of these will be underlined.